What's going on, guys? We're back with another podcast. It's Robbie, Austin, Doug. How you fellas doing today?
Doing great, Robbie.
Robbie, I'm devastated. I can't lie.
You, Austin?
I I predicted Pacers in seven,
You
but
did.
that the whole series just got ruined for me just because of Game
Yeah.
Seven. Like
Yeah.
I just thought it was the worst possible way it could have ended. It feels
Yeah.
like I was robbed of what should have been like a awesome game, and it
Yeah.
just it
I mean,
stinks.
you hate to see that happen. Like, any team, like, when their star player gets hurt, especially, like, a Game 7, and when it's an injury like that, like, you saw it just pop, and it was just, like, so early on, it was like, oh my goodness. And then it's like he's going to miss the whole next year, probably. Like, it's brutal to see that, and, you know, the Pacers, they fought for a lot of it until, the Thunder ran away with it towards the end, but it's just, yeah, it sucks when you get it like that, especially after such a, great series.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's hard to celebrate like winning that way. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of the situation, it's just tough to like you know what I'm saying, like celebrate fully knowing like it wasn't like how it should have been, right? It should have been everyone was healthy and no one got hurt, but because of the circumstances, it's definitely tough and I saw some videos of like people saying like, "Oh, they had the easiest route to the finals because of this, that," and it's like, regardless of what happened, like you can't not like. I know it's just inevitable, like a lot of championships and whatnot, and everything that people look back and like, oh, they had the easiest way to get there because of this, and it just sucks that it has to it comes down to that. Like people will knock down certain achievements just because of how they got it. But this one was just tough to see, just because how great Tyrese was playing the entire playoff run. But it's tough to see. Especially Tatum too. Going down like that. So it's just gonna be interesting to see how the Pacers bounce back next season and how Tyrese's future looks like.
Yeah, I guess for those of you that don't know, I guess Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles in the first 7 minutes of Game Seven, so that's what we're talking about. I just wanted to preface that, but it just really, really stunk because he started 3 of 4 from three, just like
Hmm.
red hot, and he had just been on a legacy run the entire playoffs, and it was like, does he have one more left in the tank? Because going into this finals, everybody was like, wow, the Thunder are just going to blow them out. Like, they've been the best team all season. Um, and the Pacers, they just kept fighting the entire way. And like Robbie said, like, they were fighting that game. Like, they were up at halftime. But for me, it just felt like there was no possible way that the Pacers were going to come back from that. Like, it would have had to been a crazy rally. And shout out TJ McConnell.
he,
Leaving everything on the
he
court, third
did.
quarter, TJ McConnell takeover. Um, Sucked to see him like crying after the game, like devastated, and you
Hmm.
know now it's not that even like you just lost him for Game Seven for Tyrese Halliburton. You've lost him now for next season. Like it's devastating, but it
Mm-hmm.
just feels like it wasn't supposed to end that way. It felt like I was like watching a movie, and like it just got.
Yeah, cut
It was
short.
just- I couldn't believe it, but our friend is a Thunder fan, and I texted in the group chat, and I was like, "God, like what a crappy way to end it." Like that was my first text after they won, and he removed me from the group chat because it was. I guess I kind of rained on his parade, which I felt bad. Like obviously, I'm gonna give the
Yeah.
Thunder their flowers. Like they played phenomenal basketball all year. They were the best team, deserving champions, 100%. It just doesn't feel like that's how they should have won it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feel like how that game should have went. Doesn't seem fair for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. But I mentioned in either the last episode or one prior to that I was very nervous playing with those calf strains.
Mm.
And after this postseason, I'm curious to see or what you guys think about like, do you think players are now going to realize, hey, if I have a calf strain, I'm sitting out?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it depends. I mean, obviously, it's just like Game 7. It's like tough to tell your guy. you know, because I'm sure Tyrese is like, I want to play. It's Game 7, and the issue is, I mean, we've seen Dame had his Achilles tear, Tatum had his Achilles tear, and it's like you have to be careful because obviously they've said these calf strains lead to that, but it's also tough to tell your guy, we don't
Hey,
want you
sit
to
out
play
Game
tonight. Sit out. You're not playing. Like Game 7, it's like the most important game. So that's like
He did say
that's
that
a
he
tough.
knew the risk what he was
Yeah.
doing.
Now, did
Hey,
Dame
also,
did Dame and Tatum, did they have like previous lingering injuries? I wasn't sure. I don't think Tatum did, right? Or did he?
Tatum was grabbing
I
at his
think
calf like earlier in the game,
But it
or
wasn't
was it the
like.
game before that, or was it?
But
I
he
think
wasn't.
he
I feel
Yeah.
probably
like
started
he
with a
did.
calf strain.
I feel like he had something. Jeez.
I
And what
remember
about
them
Dame?
showing clips. Dame had come back from an injury. I think he came back
He
from a
came
calf strain.
back from the deep. It was like
Vein
was it the vein?
thrombosis.
Yeah. I don't know if
Did he
that
get another
was.
injury after that? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
Also,
that has something connected
number
to.
0 might be cursed. All 3 of them wear number 0.
Yeah, that's just a
Yeah,
that's
both
just a crazy coincidence.
Might be a
Gilbert.
cursed number.
Yeah. Gilbert Arenas said that both Dame and Tatum told him they were dealing with calf issues before tearing their Achilles.
Well, Gilbert Arenas.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's what I'll
he
say
could be
is
yapping.
going forward, I do think players may be a little more weary about playing, but you got to realize that like these guys want championships. They're not gonna be the ones to say I'm not playing. It's gonna be the coach, the trainer, or it's gonna be like someone higher up on the team is like, we're not risking our investment, our future, right? It's not happening. Like it's tough to be, especially in a game 7 situation. It's tough to do that because it's like, who knows when you'll be back in that same situation. If it was like a play-in game, I don't think Tyrese is playing. Right? If it's like,
Hmm.
if it's something like that,
Yeah.
even Tyrese is probably like, it's not worth it. But game 7, it's definitely has to be a group decision. It's not just Tyrese, making the final call. I do think coaches and trainers and higher ups will be like, no, like based off history and facts and science, like you have a higher percentage chance of this happening. We can't risk next season and future just off of one game.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
go ahead, Robbie.
Oh no, I
You'll
was
be
just
thinking
gonna
about
say
that.
it's just the moment that every they all these players dream of as a kid. Game 7 NBA Finals, so it's like to tell them not to play would be really really tough.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I feel like a, Victor Oladipo, who suffered a bad injury, came out with like a series of tweets after Tyrese Halliburton had gotten hurt, and he was like questioning like the normalization of like playing through these injuries, knowing the risk, and it's like a lot of these team like coaches and trainers like they don't push them to do it, but they say like you can play, and he was saying that something's got to change because regardless of like the context, like you're risking. I mean, for some people, it could be like Dame. Who knows how Dame's going to come back? You're
Yeah.
risking the rest of your career and at least a year gone for like this one game or one series. But in Halliburton's case, he was always going to play that game. But like you think
Hmm.
about Tatum and Dame, like Dame first round of the playoffs, it was like I probably should never have played. Tatum, I guess I don't know. It depends because I don't know the prior or the issue that he had, if it was true that he had a calf issue or not. But I don't know. I guess players I think are going to start thinking about it more that they've seen it 3 times in this one playoffs year or 1 year playoffs. That like, hey, if I have a calf strain, the next thing to go is your Achilles. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
just it. That's the bottom line. And when your Achilles goes, it's a very serious injury. It's not easy to recover from.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it really sucks that we have to we watched watch that great series, and it like obviously like that we're afterwards we're like, man, we have to really think about this, like, and it sucks that Tyrese, prayers up to him because it's a long road to recovery, and it sucks for the Thunder too, probably because they don't want to win it that way, and yeah, but it really sucks. Like injuries, it's always so tough because there's probably like the other side of the coin where guys have played through the calf strains, but it's like when you have these high profile injuries in the playoffs, it always brings a lot with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just I heard people saying like, wow, this might be like the first finals ever where it's like you're not even are you gonna remember the Tyrese Halliburton injury or are you gonna remember that the Thunder won? And I was like, that's a
I'm gonna
good
be
point.
honest with you. It was very hard to watch the finals this year, especially with Love Island going on at the same time. I'm just saying, like it was my attention was very split. I was very trying to stay locked into the finals, but also like Love Island had my attention. So that's what I'll say.
Love Island is just such a fake show.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like
It's such a fake show.
entertainment, and it's just like
Yeah.
funny.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I do gotta say though, a lot of the games, there was some definitely some fun basketball. I know people were doubting it before the series, but I know we were always saying we're like this is gonna be much better than people were thinking, and I'm glad it was a fun series. It sucks it ended like that, but congrats to the Thunder. Also, I gotta give Lou Dort a shout out because he was a demon on Game 7. He was hustling everywhere. And he's playing crazy defense like usual. It's just like they were in the beginning when Tyrese was hitting all those threes. They were setting some great screens. So they're getting Tyrese open on those. But yeah, definitely shout out Lou Dort and. Obviously, Shea had a great day as a distributor. He kind of, towards the third quarter, he started taking some wacky shots, so his shot percentage ended up going down. But overall, was obviously got the job done. Scored what they needed, and yeah, I mean they were the best team all year, and it's crazy. This could be one of the worst iterations of their team, maybe for their contending teams because they still have Topic coming in next year, who was hurt all this year, and he was projected to be before he had gotten hurt a top 5 pick. You have about $1 billion draft picks down the pipeline. All these guys are young. They're second youngest team to win a championship. It's definitely a bright future for the Thunder.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. Do you guys put an asterisk on this win?
No, absolutely not. I mean, if you're gonna put an asterisk on this, are you gonna put an asterisk on like the Raptors championship too?
Kinda, I do.
I feel like you can't like listen. It's just a part of the it's just all a part of it. Like it is what it is. Like that's just sports. Like I'm trying to think of like a recent like football injury or something like that, or baseball or like it's just part of the game. You can't put an asterisk on it. It was 6 games and then the last final game was just like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta that's just part of the sport.
It's just unfortunately injuries happen and it's like we see this it's the healthiest team throughout. Obviously, it didn't happen until the last possible game, but usually it's the healthiest team, the healthiest contender that ends up, taking it. It's health is such a big factor in it, and obviously it could be bad luck, but you can't say the Thunder, didn't earn it or anything. I mean, they're obviously played very well. So,
I just had to ask the question.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Listen, I think Shea. I mean, I'm not sure if I think I did send this in the group chat. Maybe controversial. I don't know. This is Shea's got to be 1A or 1B greatest Thunder of all time, just based off this one season. Correct? to get MVP, Finals, and Finals MVP. Like, listen, don't get me wrong, KD, Russ, but like all that in one season is kind of like, you got to give it to him.
To me, I value championships over, I guess, like individual achievement in some way. I like Russ. Obviously, he averaged a triple double. Like he had already passed KD. Yeah, he already passed KD in my Thunder book.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna disagree with you if you want to go 1A, 1B, Shea, and Russ, because Shea just had one of the greatest seasons of all time. Like,
yeah,
he did. He was the scoring lead. He had the scoring title. He won an NBA championship. He was an MVP, Finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. He won it all. He literally won everything. So, I guess Thunder fans might argue saying he needs to just play more. But in terms of like Thunder seasons, like, I mean, that's the best Thunder season ever.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean it's always a tough thing when like thinking about this question. It's like how like you value like, how well they played for a team for a long time versus, they just got a ring and he won an MVP. It's just tough to think about. Like it's when you like think about it, but it's like
one can make the argument.
No, I agree with you. What's the ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Win a championship. But we had this debate when we were talking about Carmelo Anthony and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Robbie, that if Jalen Brunson won a title, it'd be no questions.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, like, Katie, better play, and Ross are probably, like, better tier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Katie as an individual
player.
Well,
yeah, Katie's one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
But
it's just, it's always tough when because you could go so many different ways. It's like, I definitely would see both points to this.
I would like to hear a Thunder fan perspective on this.
That would be interesting.
You know what? I'll send a text. I'll send a text out right now.
Yeah, send the message.
I'll send out a text. You guys.
Send them the link so they can join.
Well, he's actually at the parade right now.
Oh, really? Wait,
really?
Ryan went?
Yeah, I flew out to OKC.
Oh,
wow, that's awesome.
Oh, my one of my cousins is actually a Thunder fan.
Oh, there you go. I guess we're gonna hear what he has to say. I mean, Doug, I think you might be right. I think you might have to crown Shea.
Just based off of like this one, like just as like a Thunder player, and honestly, one could argue J-Dub could be over Harden as a Thunder player.
Yes. Yeah, over Harden as a Thunder. Yeah.
Hell, I'd get him over Russ.
No.
Mr. Triple-double.
Don't be disrespecting Russ.
No, but it's just like...
yeah, but you also have to, like, figure the factors of, like, where they were on the team, like, being the number one guy versus the number two, and versus, how the team around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's other... But, he's obviously only, 22, so... He still has years to go.
When it's all said and done, who knows?
He could, but when you win an MVP for the franchise, like it's. But speaking of, unless you guys had anything else to say about the finals, there was a man that we've been mentioning that got traded yet again. Mr. Kevin Durant got traded for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, 5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
And, so it was what we kind of figured. We're like, they're definitely not
they got the number 10 pick.
Yeah, the number 10 pick, too. It was, we figured Jalen Green's the guy who's getting moved after we were talking about his, playoff failures. And when you're the 2 seed, they want to compete now, plus they have a young core. And it's like, they end up getting a player who's obviously still phenomenal with getting off Jalen Green's contract, and they honestly didn't give up that much, because Jalen Green, they clearly kind of wanted to move on from his, inconsistencies and grab a guy who could help them in this window, but they're also young enough with the rest of their core that it's not going to ruin things.
I still think that the Rockets maybe win one playoff series at best.
I mean,
that's
yeah, I get
it's tough
that.
out there.
KD doesn't move the needle for me anymore. It's just like I know he's a phenomenal player, but I just think about the rest of that roster, and like it's young, and it's got a lot of potential. But when I'm looking at other teams in the West, I'm like,
it's tough out there.
it's very tough in the West. Like the Thunder, obviously, they're still way better.
Yeah.
The Lakers, I think I would take the Lakers. I think the Lakers would have beat the Rockets this year.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I think the Lakers
LeBron and Luka.
Yeah, and I mean they're inevitably gonna get a big man this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that they're actually the favorites for Bam Adebayo, and then it's Memphis.
Huh.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was from Ethan, so you never know where this guy is from.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it was great. It was a great trade for the Rockets. Like they didn't have to Jalen Green. We knew was going. They didn't have to give up Sangoon or Amon or Jabari. So great. Give up the assets and like the picks or whatnot. Get rid of Dylan Brooks. Great, works. But here's what I'm gonna say. And I've said this before about Kevin Durant and his legacy. I think he's going to be on at least one or two more teams before he retires. At least.
The Rockets?
He's definitely not retiring there. There's
Okay.
there's no way. I mean, he's been on what? 4 teams in 6 years, 7 years? When did he leave the Warriors? 2019?
2 years.
Yeah, 2019.
So it's been 6 seasons, and he's been on 4 teams. If my math is correct, but it's just I give this 2 years. I give this 2 years. The Rockets have 2 years to make it past the first round. And
what's his contract like? How many years do you have?
I'm sure he didn't sign anything super crazy with the Suns. It was probably like no more than 4 or 5 years, if I were to guess. But it's just like,
yeah, it ends at 2025, after 2025-26 season. So
after this year.
season. So they can, doesn't work out. They don't have a long-term contract anyway.
Does he have a player option?
It just says it ends. Let me click
Okay.
the Spock track. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, and it's obviously it's low risk. Like even if he ends up getting hurt, it's like all right, it didn't work out, but it makes sense. KD wants to go back. Where he went to college, Texas. He's going on a team where he's going to be able to score the ball plenty. They desperately needed consistent scoring. They needed better spacing on the floor. They already have a lot of great defenders. So they do have that going for them. They're probably going to, Amen, where we think he can take the next level. Sangoon, obviously, such a great passer, offensive hub. You have guys, Reed Shepherd, we'll see if he ends up turning into anything. But, the 10th pick probably wouldn't. There's, in the NBA draft, obviously, it's once you get beyond the first few guys, usually it's just like
taking a chance.
Yeah, you're taking a chance on a guy, and it would probably be a guy who wouldn't even be playing this year. So they're figuring this is for KD, one of the best players in the league. Still, he's still a 26-point game a guy on efficient shooting. So it's like, may as well give it your go. It seems like there was other offers for KD, but the Suns respected that he wanted to go to Houston. So we'll see how it turns out. Obviously, the West is a gauntlet, so like who knows what happens. And but anyone can go on a playoff run if you stay healthy enough. So.
I'm just surprised. Like all the reports I was hearing was teams were like blown away by what the Suns were asking for.
Yeah, I saw like the Spurs one was insane.
It finalized this. Also, the 5 second-round picks. I was like, was that just like a little deal sweetener?
A little throw-in.
Yeah, like a little fluffer upper for the deal. It's just like, okay, you can say that you got more assets, but
yeah,
it's weird that they came to this deal and was like, all right, I guess this is the best we're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they had to get some sort of return, and they didn't have the upper hand in any deals because everybody knew KD was gonna be going somewhere.
Yeah, A's 37.
Yeah, and so I guess I'm not.
Yeah, it's like I'd say it's it's a fine return. I mean the Suns got off. They were gonna have to get off him anyway. It's expiring his contract. Jalen Green. I've heard they might be looking to move him again because they.
No, I think they confirmed he's gonna stay.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Then it should be interesting him and D Book. You obviously still have Beal there, but wondering what'll happen with that.
Bradley Beal's got them held hostage.
That's so funny. He the no trade clause is so funny.
Oh, and he's oh my gosh. When is his contract up? Because if I'm a Suns fan, I am waiting.
Plus, I feel like Jalen Green and Book, I feel like those are two guys that always need to the ball in their hand to play make. So I feel like it's going to be interesting trying to see those two play together. But I guess we'll see how it goes.
He has a player option in 2026, 27, 2025, and it's $57 million. So he's picking that up. Damn.
Guys just holding them hostage for another 2 years. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But we also had another deal across the league. We had Anthony Simons and Holiday. Holiday was expected to be traded because the Celtics were in the second apron, but they got, Simons is a good offensive player to get, and he's 26. Solid pickup. I liked it.
I mean,
I hated this trade for the Trailblazers.
I know.
You pick up a guy that is to me it was like, a contending team's gonna want to trade for him. And then it was like the Trailblazers, and I was like, the Trailblazers?
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like, you guys are not contending for anything ever. Well, not ever, but not for a long time. Like, I was like, you went out and you traded Anthony Simons, who's, he's 26 now. So I guess he's getting older, but you went out and then got Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
And Drew Holiday, I love Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is awesome. He's a great defender. He knows his role. And I honestly feel bad for him that he got sent to it's like the gulag of freaking Portland Trailblazers. Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what that move was. It made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely makes more sense that, Boston got doesn't
Sure.
Portland to trade it, it's 26 unless they're like, oh, we don't want this guy for the future at all, and obviously he's not a good defender, but it's still it feels like you could have gotten more. I mean, or gone in a different direction at least, than a aging vet, but maybe. Who knows? Maybe they'll flip him again like last time when they originally traded him to the Celtics, or they're like, oh, we want a vet in the locker room. I don't. But we also got the second half of that where they're supposed to trade Kristaps Porzingis away as well, because he would have put them in the second apron. He was traded. It was a 3-team trade: Boston, Atlanta, Brooklyn. Kristaps and a second-round pick to the Hawks. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22 pick to the Nets, and Niang and a second rounder to the Celtics. Doug's the guy.
Former Sixer.
So I guess the Celtics are making moves early.
Yeah, it was kind of expected. I thought it was going to be those two that had to go.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they were receiving some crazy offers for Jaylen Brown. I thought maybe there was a chance if they got something they really couldn't pass up on. And Derek White definitely got a lot of offers, but I don't think they are interested in moving him at all.
Mm-hmm.
These were kind of the two pieces where it was made the most sense to move on from, obviously, to get under the luxury. This was just a sell to me for the Celtics. their return wasn't great, but they just had to get rid of him. There's really no other choice. So, I mean, he's going to Atlanta.
Yeah,
right?
he's going to Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, him and Trae Young will be fun.
That would be fun to watch. Yeah.
The Kristaps revenge game in New York with Trae Young.
Oh
now.
wait, sorry. He's going to the. Oh wait, yeah, no, sorry. That's
I think you were having nightmares right here when I was. I think you didn't want to hear what I was saying.
Oh, sorry, no, I.
Robbie, I was saying that revenge game in the Big Apple with Trae Young.
Oh no.
He's probably going to drop 50 on you, and Trae Young's going to drop 50 as well.
Cap.
A double 50 burger in the garden.
That's crazy. It's gonna be Jaylen Brown. Jalen Brunson is gonna have a masterpiece.
So let's say Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, let's say Jaylen Brown. Jalen Brunson are gonna have a masterpiece. That didn't sound too confident, Robbie.
It's very confident. I'm waiting on the Knicks to hire their coach.
Good luck.
Yeah, I forgot about that. What
They've been interviewing a couple of the assistants. I forget the guy's name. Like I just don't know much about like some of these assistants that they're interviewing. So I'm like, you never know. Some of these guys end up turning out to be great coaches in the end. I mean, I don't know what it's taken a bit, but I guess we'll see what happens. I'm still waiting. We also had another trade earlier. We had C.J. McCollum, and I'll just say like the main parts of the trade. C.J. McCollum is going to Washington, and then they're sending Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40th pick to the Pelicans. So Washington really wanted a vet, I guess, and Jordan Poole they didn't want.
Yeah, I feel bad for both sides. No, I don't know where I'd rather be, New Orleans or Washington. They're both kind of like, oh well.
Probably not. Well, I feel like Washington would be worse.
Washington would be worse.
But
New Orleans, you can at least get like a bowl of gumbo or something.
Chill with Zion. Zion knows the spots.
He does.
Yeah, Zion will show him around. If you're going to Washington, it's like, well, I guess I'll go to the catch a Commanders game tonight. I guess. What else are we gonna do? Get a tour of the White House.
Yeah. But that's about as. Well, I did want to. Obviously we have the draft coming up on Wednesday. Oh wait, so tomorrow. But want to know your guys' thoughts. Ace Bailey's agent was advising him not to go to anyone in the top 5 because he apparently wants to go to a team where he can have the ball more.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually let Doug lead this one.
So
This
dumb.
is mainly affecting him.
I mean, that's like so like okay. First off, I don't get the premise that he's not gonna get the ball in Philly. I mean, you have Jerry McCain coming off an injury, Tyrese like. Like on paper, healthy Jared McCain, Maxey, Embiid, Paul George, and then Ace Bailey getting thrown there. Like you have a good mix of young guys and vets. Like that's a great team to be a part of. I don't know another organization that's in that like top 5 that has that and also has like playoff experience and like. It just doesn't make sense to me that he's just declining these workouts, and it's just like, you know what, like, I'm kind of sick and tired. It feels like a Shedeur Sanders situation, just kind of just like, oh no, not doing like, even though I know like his agent is influencing or whatnot, but it just seems like, no, don't do this. I'm gonna do what I want. Like just like everyone else has done the combines, everyone's done the workouts for the teams. Like just do it. Like. If you want to fall down, by all means, fall down. Like, you're just hurting yourself.
Well, it's pretty obvious why he's doing it. And his agent's pushing for it. He's like, hey, we can go play... What were his preferred destinations? It was like New Orleans, Brooklyn, and...
I feel like
he said Washington?
He said Washington, too.
Yeah, Washington. Let's think about this. I want to go play for a bad team so I can put up the most amount of numbers and then get a supermax. His agent then gets paid the most money. It's very simple. He doesn't care about winning. That's why he went to Rutgers. Didn't care about winning. I
don't see him going to Washington and putting up crazy numbers. Like
Bradley Beal.
No, there was John Wall at the time, and you had Gortat. It wasn't just
No,
Bradley
but John
Beal.
Wall was gone, and that's why Bradley Beal was dropping like 30 a game on Washington, and they were like they won like 31, 32 games,
Yeah, but Bradley
and he
Beal
got
also
paid.
was like, if
This is
I'm
just a
not,
money move.
I know, but like, wasn't Bradley Beal like Bradley Beal wasn't walking into the Wizards like the only shooter on that team. Like he had like once John left and Gortat and all those guys left, then he took over as the guy. Like I don't see Ace going there as a rookie with like no one and just taking like it just is like you think
He's just thinking. I'm saying that's his thought process, though. Whether he's going to do it or not, I don't know. But he's thinking, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to be their star, and I'm just going to get paid as soon as my contract's up. That's all he's thinking. He knows if he goes to Philly, he's going to be playing second fiddle to Tyrese Maxey. And I'm not even going to mention Embiid. Is that guy even going to play again or what?
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like if at the point where like let's say he changes his mind and somehow he goes to Philly, right? I don't see realistically as a Sixers fan where I'm sitting right now. I don't see Paul George or Embiid with the team in 4 to 5 years when he gets his supermax, if he even gets a supermax contract. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. So it's like
What about
if
Maxey?
right, but if Maxey gets a supermax, can't like there's okay. I'm gonna say this right now. Ace Bailey is not. I will put $100 on it. Ace Bailey is not getting a supermax contract once his rookie deal's up. It's not happening. He's not that like.
I don't know if he is or isn't.
I'm just like,
He's just
it's
looking for the best opportunity to do it.
see, and then if that's the actual thought process, I wouldn't even want the guy on my team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I already
That's
don't like him
fair.
because
Yeah.
he's just valuing money. He doesn't care
It
about winning.
is. He wants a wide open runway,
Yeah.
basically, and
And I don't want that.
it's
I don't want that
it's
other guy. I was dead set on wanting Ace. What's this guy? VJ. Who is
VJ
him?
Edgecombe from Baylor. I mean, Doug, you say that now. Honestly, clip this. If you're
Clip
saying
it.
you don't want him, what if he turns out to be really good?
I'm probably still gonna buy the jersey. Like, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Like, I'm still gonna buy
I mean-
whoever we draft. But it's just
Let's see
like,
what the latest mock draft is saying right now. What?
you know what? We should
The
just
final-
trade 3-2 and just get Dylan Harper, or we trade up and
I've heard
we
the
trade him.
Spurs-
I've
We
heard
traded-
they're
We trade Embiid to the Mavericks with the 3rd overall pick, and we get the 1st. Do you think they would consider that
What?
the
No.
3rd pick and Embiid for number 1?
No.
I would.
They would
Embiid-
somewhat consider it.
They.
They'd look at it.
I mean, you listen to anything, but I would
So,
not.
mm,
I'm an MB
Jeremiah
hater.
fears. So they do have Ace Bailey going 6 to Washington now. Final mock draft.
So who's 3?
VJ.
Dougie, who do you think it is?
Is it VJ?
Of course it is. Then they have Conkin up at 4 to Charlotte.
I like some things about VJ. Some of
It
the-
just sucks because I was like, yes, we're getting him, and then it's like,
also
I-
it was crazy. Oh, sorry. You could,
No, I was saying I like Common Malawak from Duke. I think he's gonna be a monster.
I feel like I've heard good things about him. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know a ton about him, but I haven't really like looked close at the mock drafts. Honestly, this draft cycle, I'm like,
well,
but
I'm just.
I mean, there's some good, interesting. I mean, there's some interesting names at least at the top.
I'm like
Yeah.
quickly just looking at like VJ Edgecombe autographs. They're like pretty expensive. He's only in 24 Prism draft.
I mean, what is he like? 19?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, probably. Oh, gosh, it has the Wizards.
What did he measure in at the combine?
DJ?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna look on its higher now. It says he's 6'4". Height. Oh wait,
6'7".
Okay.
height without shoes 6'4". Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like me basically.
No, you're like 6 foot.
I'm
5'11"
6'3".
maybe. Curious. Let's see who it has. Do you guys have a first round pick?
The
No.
Knicks probably not.
They have a second round pick. I heard we're looking for a wing. There was the guy from Arkansas. It starts with a T. Tiore, maybe? Or wait, is that the other guy? There's one guy from Arkansas. There's a guy from somewhere else there. I saw. Well, it was on a Knicks page, so I don't know if they're actually it's BS or not. But that's
you have the 50th pick, Lachlan Ulbrich.
that was one of the guys I heard from. But I mean, that was just one guy. Yeah, I mean, probably.
I'd rather go with Eric Dixon. Eric Dixon's a dog.
Well,
So I'm just kind of breezing through this mock draft right now.
Yeah, it's when you get to the second round, it could be like 50 different guys. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's just whoever you like best.
The Thunder have the 15th pick.
Don't they have 24 too? Or is that another first too? Or
yeah, they do. They have both.
Yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
I'm seeing them at 15 right now. They're getting mocked Derek Queen. That's a problem.
Really? That's wow. Poor guy's not gonna play.
Oh my gosh, they just
they have
many...
so embarrassment of riches. Like you feel like they could easily like make a move for like
a superstar. What's the point?
Or another like high end role player.
They got everything they need.
I know, that's the thing. It's like they're gonna just have so many guys on the bench. It's like,
everything they need. Like the one thing they could do is, I guess, try and.
Topic is coming in too. He's basically a rookie. He's playing in the summer league. It is pretty wild.
It's so wild. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the NBA draft is always interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same excitement as the NFL draft.
No,
and it's just because it's only 2 rounds, and then once you get past the lottery, it gets like pretty, you're getting into the weeds, and then.
Although I see Liam McNeely going 18.
Oh, okay.
Love it. Don't love that it's to the Wizards.
Yeah, Wizards, it's just kind of like, man.
Wow, they have Walter Clayton going in a first-round pick now.
Oh. I mean, he did ball out. And then...
Going to Miami, that'd be sick.
And then, what'll be interesting, who's going to be the steal of... Because there's always, a guy, in the second round someone gets, and it's 5 games in, you're like, oh, this guy was the steal of the draft. And it's if you can draft someone good in the second round, it's such a bonus. To get a guy that late.
Oh. I'm looking at a name that caught my attention very. Oh. There's a couple.
I see.
Usually the second round picks are usually the older players in college that play really well but they don't have that young talent. But a couple names here that I would look at: Chaz Lanier from Tennessee shoots lights out. Wow, this one's actually to the Thunder. Johnny Broom was the best player in college last year.
Kalkbrenner is projected at 29.
He stinks. Ryan Kalkbrenner is terrible. That guy's a traffic cone.
Damn. 7'1", 7'6" wingspan and can shoot.
Don't. That guy is an absolute traffic cone.
He'll get a shot. Is he that bad on defense?
No.
I don't really.
No. But I mean, I think that he moves like a turtle.
Gotcha.
He's honestly like Zach.
Yeah.
He's like Zach Edey with not as big of an offensive bag.
Gotcha. But doesn't he have a decent shot, or is that not?
Nah. I mean, I guess he can hit if there was nobody in the tri-state area around him, he can pull up.
Yeah.
But he's not.
All right, I gotcha.
Eric Dixon though, Villanova. He dropped
Tyrese Proctor.
He stinks.
36.
Lost.
Yeah, he did. Was he 316?
Well, he also decided not to pass Cooper Flagg the ball and then got fouled and took the free throws himself. I would say that those 3 to me are they have a chance, but I don't know. Oh, you have some guys in there that are from Europe that I have no idea.
Yeah, it's
if they're good or not.
That's the thing with the NBA draft. Some of these teams also will literally try to say nothing about a player, stash him away, then be like, "Oh, we're picking." I forgot who it was a couple years ago that they did that with, but yeah, it's always just because obviously they're sending the scouts out, and we're not seeing them on the national media, obviously, unless they're Wemby level. So there's definitely going to be a steal in that market.
Always is.
But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow, and we'll obviously discuss that next podcast. But to shift things a little, let's talk about Fanatics Fest and that obviously that crazy moment that went viral. Jaden Daniels, and the Washington Commanders owner was they were on stage with Michael Rubin, and they were asking what's the biggest Jaden Daniels card in the room, and a YouTuber, Roth Cards, pulls up the Jaden Daniels Black Finite 1 of 1, and they end up getting a deal done for $500K. What do you guys think?
I mean, great for the hobby.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. I mean, I don't even know, what, I was thinking about this today. I do think, Prism Black Finites are, kind of getting, pumped up in a sense of, that being, the ultimate card. If that card sold for, because you got to remember, there's, he's got at least four Prism 101s. You got you got the I'm talking there's the Black Finite, then you have that version in a Black Disco, and then you also have it in the Black Stars. That's the box set, and then I'm also thinking the Deca Prism are four true.
And the autograph too.
Right. Well, no, there's no autos in Prism.
Yeah, you're right.
Those are his I'm considering those four true Jaden Daniels best 101 cards. So and he has the XRC, the select. So it's if that one sold for $500K, does that mean the black? There's probably the Black Shimmer, right? Is that worth 300, 400? I don't understand where the discrepancy is. I don't think the Black Finite should be worth, honestly, that much more than the other ones. I get it, it's a true the true best one, but it's just tough because now I think there's so many different 101s, and especially now with downtowns and uptowns, it's just I think it's great because I think the hobby's at its best point right now since COVID, if not better, because I don't even know if what was the best card who's the best football player, Joe Burrow? Do we think a Joe Burrow Prism 101s would have sold for 500,000? I don't know. I know the Herbert sold for $1 million, right? But that was autographed.
Yeah.
So,
and during the COVID wave.
Right. So I think it's great for the hobby. I just am going to be curious to see where that's going to put other cards, right? I was surprised when that Steph Curry Tops Now 101 sold for more than Jaden Daniels, which that's crazy to me because I saw Sports Card Investor basically got the same card, the same version out of 10 for 30, and it's I'd rather spend $30K on the version out of 10 than over $500,000 on the 101. I think the market is just whatever someone's gonna pay just to say they have his best card, But I guess we'll see next year what a Jaden Daniels best Tops 101 autograph is. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a couple $100,000, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think because you'll have the Flawless coming out. When that comes out, obviously we'll have an autoed NFL Shield, but usually an NFL Shield Flawless is technically the best of the best, but people love the Black Prism too, so it'd be interesting to see what the non-auto NFL Shield does. I mean, obviously it probably won't do that much, but it's gonna be like you're saying, it's gonna be very interesting to see how everything reacts to this. Like people who have the gold vinyls, the gold out of tens will be comparing this sale to bump up their values. So it's definitely gonna create an effect, and obviously, this is gonna happen more. Owners are gonna want to buy their player's best player because he's putting on display in Washington Stadium. So Dick's Sporting Goods, they bought the Skeens to put on display at the show and to put on at their headquarters or whatever. So this could be a new thing where these billionaires have money to throw around, and they're like, I want my young best player, my quarterback's best card, and I'm gonna put it on display. Be like, and that sale, obviously creates news. So,
Mm-hmm.
and gets more people in.
I really, I kind of feel like this won't be like a real comp that people can use for like people that actually collect versus like obviously owners and stuff, because it feels like it was kind of like a shtick almost. Like it was like he was gonna pay so much money for this no matter what.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
a drop
if,
in the
like,
bucket for.
I don't know if like the average collector, even like the higher end collectors, are gonna think, well, since that sold for $500K, that means my number to 3 is now worth like $250K. Like I don't know. I feel like they can't use that as a real comp almost.
I get that. Like, I think it will take, like, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm sure after this I'll probably look or whatnot, but, like, I definitely want to see recent Jaden Daniels sales, because what I saw is when the Curry sold for $500,000, okay, before the Curry card sold for $530,000, the version out of 5 sold for 17, and then that sale happened, and then it sold on eBay for 35. So some of the cards doubled quickly. Now, I think it will be interesting to see if after that sale, what other Prism Jaden Daniels cards, like how much they went up, how many more got listed, that sort of thing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Golden right now is getting ready to put some crazy Jaden Daniels cards in their next auction just because of this sale, right? Like, it's great to kind of seize that opportunity and keep the market going up, especially with the National coming up too. But it just, yeah, I think that's probably the most expensive Prism football sale since the Herbert, I'm going to guess, right? I mean, even though the Herbert was years ago, I can't think of another super high unless there was like a Mahomes I'm forgetting about or something like that.
Maybe a Josh Allen.
Yeah. But even like a Josh, like, does that mean like Josh Allen's Prism Black is worth close to that? Like, what, like,
That means it would be more than that.
you think
Yeah.
so?
He just won MVP.
Yeah, but you like,
And
you got,
Lamar, and like,
but
I
that's
don't
the thing. It's like, I think like Lamar has played since 2018. Josh Allen's played since 2018 as well. So like those guys have 5 years. Jaden did this after one season. I definitely think he's way more hyped up than any of those guys, right?
well, he's
So
just way more hyped up. And I feel like every new quarterback that comes in is going to be the most hyped up. Like C.J. Stroud last year was probably the most hyped up too.
yeah.
So it's like you're right. I guess people will spend more money on the guy who's the youngest, per se. That's like
Yeah.
playing this well. I don't know. I feel like Fanatics Fest was really weird because it just seemed like a lot of different shticks. Like Tom Brady bought a LeBron card for like $250K as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
it's
one
like,
was that?
It was like his gold rookie refractor, I think. A BGS
Yeah,
95 or
I
something.
mean, they're definitely for like obviously they're pumping these interactions and forcing things, but it also, I mean, obviously for the like collectors, they'll see it like that, but it also does bring more eyes, even if it is forced like that. It does
Yeah.
bring more eyes and attention. Obviously, it may not be organic, but it's definitely like. It definitely, how many views they got on social media this weekend from all these things, and it's like, I wonder how much like these guys are getting paid like to show up. Like,
The
you got
appearances.
LeBron there, you're paying real money.
Yeah, Wemby just like showed up
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Wemby.
It was like Michael Rubin is a genius.
Yeah, he's
Like
definitely a smart guy.
he's trying to like he's trying to do the COVID card world like bigger. Like he's bringing in athletes, celebrities, everything
Hmm.
into the card world, which is obviously going to bump up prices because they can pay so much more. So, and he wants to keep that afloat so then he can sell his product for more money. It's
Yeah.
very smart of him to do that.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like the people that are going to be like the most like annoyed by it is like the OG collectors. Because like
Hmm.
now they're probably looking at this like this all of a sudden has just become like a money game instead of collecting. Like like everything you're looking at is like dollar sign now instead of really collecting the card because you want it. And like things that you really want are now going to cost a lot more to get. So
Yes
it's
and no, because like if you think about it, like the true collector, like before all this craze, right? Like they probably already got the cards that they wanted, and like now at this point, like for instance, me being a true like 76ers fan, like none of this recent, even since COVID boom or anything, like it's not affecting Michael Carter Williams prices or Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
Like that true collector that wants like those niche players, it's not affecting their values. It's the people that are a Washington Redskins fan and oh their quarterback did great. Like it's very like one off, I feel like. Like true collectors
Hmm.
can
that's
still
true.
complete sets, especially like certain vintage like it's not like it's only really affecting the cards that are in like pristine, like much better condition. Like you can still get beat up vintage cards for sets. Like when we go to these shows, like there's still those tables of the people buying and completing their 50, 60, 70 sets. So I think yes, it will affect certain players and aspects, but like the true collector that oh, I saw this, I remember when he played, it's not affecting that. But yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, and just for some reference, I brought up the most expensive Prism football card was Patrick Mahomes gold vinyl out of 5, sold for 570,000 in 2022. So imagine
No,
what
that's
the
not true.
that's what it
What the
says.
No, but the Herbert I thought sold for
Oh,
over a
I'm
million.
sorry. I meant besides the the Justin Herbert.
Oh, okay. So it went Herbert and
Oh,
then
it
that
was a Herbert.
Mahomes.
It was a Herbert Shield. It was it
Oh,
sold
so
for 1.8 million in 22.
okay, so then I don't know why I thought the Prism sold
I
for.
do remember the Prism selling for something crazy though. I think you're right. It might maybe it was a private sale or something.
I'll try and find it.
Yeah, try and find that
Yes.
because but yeah, it's definitely like Doug's saying like for like people collecting like running backs or like Drew Brees or Peyton Manning, like their card prices still aren't, they're legends and their cards are still fine. So it's mainly affects like the new guys. Like everyone wants the newest guy. Like even if they aren't, great, everyone wants a prospect. Everyone wants the next Tom Brady. Like even though they try and force who the next Tom Brady is. And we see this every year. Someone takes a huge loss, so it's kind of turned into like that way, like a lot more gambling. But like true collectors, they're gonna collect what they like. Obviously for fun, you might, some collectors, you might buy a guy and be like, oh, I'll buy one card of this guy to invest. See if he turns out well, then I can flip him to pay for my collection. And it's definitely there's definitely plenty of ways to go about it. Like there's even if it's the market's high, there's so many different options. You can collect your team, player, whoever you want.
So I'm looking at it says the Justin Herbert Black Finite 101 sold for 1.1 million
Yeah.
in 2022.
Okay. This app must or this page for whatever
Where did it
reason
sell
doesn't
on? It must have not have been golden.
No,
Was it
and
private?
but then it says in February 2023 the same version but the autograph version of the card sold for 162,000.
Yeah, I do see that article.
There was one on Golden. It was his shield from National Treasures sold for 1.8 million. on
Yeah.
Golden.
But like to
Okay.
me, to be honest with you, like I don't think the shields, because flawless is still not, or excuse me, like the Herbert, that wasn't a game use shield, right?
I think it was.
Oh, it was a National Treasure Shield.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
even.
think National Treasures is all game used,
I don't think so.
or at least player worn.
Let me. Is there
Right.
a way to see the back of them?
Let's see.
Let me.
Probably, yeah.
Let me look at 2020 National Treasure Shield 101. I know that obviously it could be different for other cards, but I'll just look up. Yeah, like Antonio Gibson's. I'm gonna flip over. Yeah, his isn't.
So like to me, like let's just say the Herbert is not. I know flawless is game used, I believe, but NT might not be. I'd rather have the Prism than the NT because the NT is just like a generic like jersey, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's
Good
not
point.
like I don't think that
looking
I don't
at,
think that increases the value.
I'm looking at just other National Treasures patches from that year for Justin Herbert, and like just like a normal patch isn't game used
Yeah.
or player worn.
Yeah, it's because that was like during COVID they were making these, so it's like it was before that like a lot more of them were probably, but it's like I'm looking at a bunch of like different players, and unless they probably already had the jersey, it's probably especially the rookies they don't. Yeah, I see like a Marquise Brown is player worn because they probably had him try on a billion jerseys already. He has a flawless laundry tag. I'm pulling up. It is not from any specific game or event. Yeah, it's. I mean, it is
I mean, his
crazy.
2021 Shield is not from anything. So yeah, I
Yeah,
guess then I would agree with you. I wouldn't even think that Shield
yeah.
means
It's like
as
it's a
much.
cool looking card still, but like the prism is just like so clean, like the look, and it's like obviously the classic look. But if it's game worn, like
Then it's really
that's
cool.
what,
Like
yeah,
I also think like certain years of Prism, like there are more iconic years of like Prism design and with classes of players than there are of like national treasures. Like for example, like 09 010 National Treasures is a classic because it's Steph Curry's class that RPA is like a known popular card. It's not like National Treasures 2020 is like a popular set because of the design. You know what I'm saying? Like I think 2020 Prism is more iconic than the design for National Treasures. Now that's just me kind of on the spot thinking. Like I think a more iconic Prism set is worth more than like a generic national treasure. You know what I'm trying to say? Like just that
yeah.
provenance
I
of it.
think National Treasures is overrated anyway. Like I think it. I don't like the look of it, like that much at all. That's just me. My
I mean,
opinion.
flawless is definitely
Flawless
the
look.
best out of the three. I think
Yeah.
immaculate is like it's obviously I would assume it's flawless or I think National Treasures and Flawless are still like 1A, 1B. Like National Treasures is more historic and iconic, but Flawless is newer and like with the diamonds and stuff. So they're basically neck and neck. And then Immaculate's always been like a tier below, but
Hmm.
Immaculate is still almost at that same price point to where it's like essentially the same.
Yeah, and it also, obviously Prism's gotten like more popular in like the last like 5 years, like compared to how it used to be, and it kind of feels like it's kind of obviously the future. It's getting more modern. Everyone wants like sleeker things in general. So I mean, maybe this is also like the Prism market is like because how it obviously how it looks aesthetically like sleek, very cool like that. So first, it probably depends also on the person. So they're like, oh, I like the Prism more than the Flawless, or maybe they value one high. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could depend on because obviously they're kind of completely different things. But if it's like not game worn, it's like it's definitely not as cool.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not game worn, it's just like I could buy that jersey and cut out the shield and put it in the card myself.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Austin Customs.
Yeah. Like,
And I, yeah, and there's also like insane like this is just a side topic, but like I saw like a picture of this guy bought a card and it's like they swapped in like a crazy patch and it's like people can do that so easily too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if it's not game, that doesn't matter I guess, but it's like if it's not game worn.
Yeah.
But
player worn's, I guess, a little bit better, but even player worn's.
yeah, it's like
I don't even know what that means. Like, do they just have them try on a bunch of jerseys?
Yes.
yeah,
They like put it on a bunch
They-
of jerseys so they can
yeah.
legally say
like
player.
try
Wasn't
to,
there like a picture of one of the athletes like wearing like 20 jerseys at a time?
yeah.
That was at like the NFL like photo shoot or like the rookie shoot.
It's usually like the rookie whatever they have.
Premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just make them put
It's-
on a bunch of jerseys. And it's just so they legally can say it was player worn.
Yeah. Hopefully, Fanatics, they have all these contracts with the leagues to get game worn jerseys. Let's get some more game worn stuff once they got the licensing.
Yeah, I think Fanatics is gonna do a good job. Me
Yeah.
personally.
Panini, you take a break. But to move on to another card show talk about not last week but the week before, me and Doug went to Mohegan and we hit up the Mohegan Card Show, which is a very good show. So why don't you tell us about some of the experience, Doug?
Yeah, so this one we did like the early bird, which was not, it wasn't even like really chaotic. I was kind of surprised that there was a decent amount of people there earlier, and we got in there. It was like a different ballroom than usual. It's a definitely larger space, definitely overwhelming because they just have these massive doors, and it's like you could go like 4 different directions. I lucked out because, and I don't know, at this point, I'm just going to remember now. Every time that Robbie and I have went to this show, this is the 3rd time we went. It's been the same dealer that's always at the front. And he always has like crazy like early to mid 2000s like National Treasures, Ultimate Collection, like random patch autos of like players. And he always has a bunch of good stuff, and I was going through his bargain bin, or I don't even call it a bargain bin because it was anything from like $1 to $2 to like 20 and up. And like this is from this guy, this is where I got like a Frank Jackson 101 before. I got like a couple laundry tag cards. So like he had some really good cards in the past, and I recognized him. I'm like, okay, like I'll spend some time here. And I probably spent like honestly 30, 45 minutes just going through the bin, and I lucked out because I'm glad I stopped there first, because once we did a couple laps, his booth was like packed the entire time. So I'm glad that we got in there when we did, even though we went back 3 or 4 times. But I was going through and I found a Ben Shepherd Topps Chrome red autograph out of 5. And I don't know why, but I was like, I think he had like $40 on it, and I put it back, and I regret it. I should have just bought it. I don't think it was worth a whole lot more, and especially after the season ended. But like Ben Shepherd, I feel like out of 5 for $40, like, I should have just held on to that. But I was going through, and I've only gotten this feeling, I think, one time that I can recall looking at cards, and it was when I found that Steve Irwin autograph with Robbie at the show before. And the Steve Irwin autograph was fake, but I was still like, I thought it came up. But Robbie's a Nico Mannion fan, and I'm sure on the show he's mentioned before that he bought the gold vinyls of him. So I'm going through, and there's a Nico Mannion optic autograph, which Robbie, that's what he's trying to collect, the rainbow. And I'm looking at it, and like it looked, I don't even know the color, like it looked like purple. I thought it was I think the first off the line might be purple stars for that, Robbie. Could I be wrong?
Yeah.
Is it?
No, it's purple.
So
Yeah.
that's what I thought at first. I was like, oh, okay, like purple stars, like low numbered. It'll be like cool to pick up. And it had $50 on it. So I was like, all right, sweet. And I turn it over, and it says 101. And Robbie, yeah, why don't you show it there? Yeah. So it's actually the what is that? What's that parallel?
The black fast break 1 of 1
Black
auto.
Fast Break 101, and it had $50 on it. So the two things that kind of caught me off guard. One is finding that because I'm like, Robbie literally has two other 101s, so I'm like, this is crazy. And I afterwards I looked up. There's like what 13 different 101s in the set,
Yeah.
including
Here,
print
I'll
plates.
grab the other two.
There's a ton of different ones. So I was like, that's crazy to find. And like the other thing too is like he only had $50 on it, which I was like, he had like other like he had like Javaris Critton like RPAs for like 30 or 40. So I'm like, it's kind of weird to place like a fifth like this, essentially the same price on a 101 card. He had like Justin Winslow autographs for like $30. I was like, it didn't make sense how he priced it. But I didn't even argue. I didn't even negotiate. I was just like, here's $50, and I just brought it right over to Robbie, and Robbie freaked out. But that was pretty cool. I was just a little disappointed because he had so many cards. Robbie, didn't he have so many cards from that year and not a single Paul Reed
Yeah.
card at all? Like nothing. Like same year and everything. Not even like a base auto or anything. Yeah, so Robbie's now got is the one of him
Three.
is the one of him in the blue jersey a variation?
That's just the non-auto.
Oh, okay. Um but yeah, I mean it's pretty wild.
Shout out, dog.
Yeah.
Because I went to the left, did not see Doug, and it was yeah. Shout out Doug for finding that.
Yeah, and I know that good karma for giving it to Robbie for what I paid will come back at some point when Robbie finds a Paul Reed 101 for me.
Yes, sir. We're finding the Contenders Optic Gold Vinyl ticket.
Yeah, but other than that, honestly, like I was a bit disappointed the rest of the show. I didn't really find anything else that like caught my eye or that I really wanted. I mean, I got like a Del Curry 101 autograph for like $70, but like there was like no Sixers stuff. And obviously the Sixers aren't really that popular of a team even though they're on the East Coast. Like not a whole lot of Embiid, even though I wouldn't buy it. I saw one Jared McCain card in the entire show. Nothing else. So I was just like a little disappointed. But you know, there's always next show, and I know I'll find some more stuff in the future.
Yeah, and especially like that's such a big show, and it's I'm sure there probably also could have been some other cards that ended up selling for a good amount, but some other Philly cards, but you can only see so many tables that when you're going around.
Right. But yeah, overall I thought it was good. It's definitely worth paying for the early bird ticket. And yeah, I know Robbie did really good with the pickup. So
Yeah, I'll show off a couple of them. We got a bunch of like value stuff, but this was like one of the coolest pickups. Odell Beckham Jr. out of 10, rookie year, Nike glove patch. Dog actually spotted this one. I was like, oh, where is the guy? And I went over. The guy was asking 150. I'm like, I offered 100. He's like, oh, I've been getting a lot of attention on this. Lowest I'll do is 140. I'm like, fine. I took it. KPJ pickup out of 5.
from that same guy that had the Nico.
From the same guy who had the Nico. Just a cool patch. Here's one that Austin loves. The
that's
Josh
so sick.
Downs Black Deca 1/1.
Oh, that's so sick.
Pretty cool card. This is also from the guy. It was just a really cool patch. Panini Day, but it's like the Celtics patch.
The Leprechaun.
This is all, yeah, the Leprechaun. The Kenny Smith. Now I didn't realize this one was kind of like jacked up. Like on the, there's some like marks on it. I don't know if it was
Okay.
bad quality control, but whatever. Troy Brown 1/1, just a random one. I did flip a couple of the finds that I got so far, but this is the big one.
Yeah.
Lad McConkey Black Mosaic
Yeah,
1/1.
that's sick.
I saw it at a table. The guy mainly had Pokemon, but he had a few sports cards. But he was like, um, he said he didn't have a price on it. So I'm like, how much would you do? He starts to pull out his phone. I'm like, oh boy, am I gonna get a crazy ridiculous number? Um, the Phoenix 1 of 1 did like 625, so he went off that. He's like, how about 550? I'm like, when he said that low, I'm like, 500? And then he's like, yeah, that works. And then I'm like, okay. And I took it immediately. I'm like, this is just too cool of a card. So, rooting for Lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sick one. Lad's a dog, too.
He is.
Got Justin Herbert. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
No solo balls.
No,
solo
so
balls.
there was, I mean, I saw this guy did have, but he had anyone that had Yukon cards, and I was like, oh, like any solo balls, and there were just base autographs, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just buy up base cards for you
No, I
when you
have
can
a
just
million
get
of
them.
them.
But I was like,
Yeah.
no one. I was like, I'm looking for like the 101s or like low numbered parallels, and like there was like nothing. So,
Brutal.
Mhm.
yeah.
Robbie, how many slices of Frank Pepe's did you eat?
Oh,
I
Good
put down a
amount.
lot too.
Doug did put
Doug
down a
put in
good
a
amount.
shift?
I only got to cook on the. Doug's like, last slice you could cook that.
The key
Doug-
is to get the pitcher of soda so you're staying hydrated. I can't do the water. I was like, I needed some
do the
Diet
water.
Coke, or I don't even know what I said, the Coca-Cola or whatever. But I was like, the pitcher with the pizza.
I
We
do
had to
remember
wait a
last
while
time
too.
I do remember last time you did make that call. You got the executive decision, got the pitcher of soda with it. Great call, great
Yeah.
strat.
But we had to wait a
I
while in line.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
It was on a Saturday. It's busier than when we
Well,
go on
I assume a
Sundays.
lot of people that like travel for that show, like they see Frank Pepe's and they're like, "Oh, this is like
Yeah. And then
one of
just
the best pizza
regular
in the world."
families
Mm-hmm.
Families,
vacationing. It's crazy on a casino on a Saturday.
yeah. One of the biggest
But-
casinos in the world.
Yeah, like I was talking with Doug, like thinking like imagine like it's crazy how much money is running through that entire building that day. Because just think the card show's a tiny part of it. Like it's not like
Tiniest part of it.
yeah, and think about how much money people are buying cards for there. Meanwhile, in the slots, the people are putting millions of dollars a day.
Have you ever seen them like roll around the chip cage? You ever seen that?
No.
Okay, so they roll around like this massive like steel cage that like has like it holds like all the chips in it and stuff that they go to like all like the pits so they can give the dealers more chips and stuff. So they roll it around at like usually the end of the night, and they have like 2 armed people like with ARs like with it at all times like rolling it through because I mean inside that cage is theoretically tens of millions of dollars, maybe if not more. Like it's
Mhm.
everything. Because I always thought about it. I was like, oh, what if I just like grabbed this chip from this dealer? Like, what if I just like see they put it right in front of them? What if I just like grabbed it and ran? But then it was like the casinos.
Yeah, you're getting.
They have a
like
camera
tackle.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the Mohegan, it's a great. It's very nice. Like it's awesome. Because they have. It's not even like just a casino. Obviously, they have so much like entertainment. They have like a bowling alley, arcade, and stuff.
And
They
like
always
that's
have
the
shows
thing.
going in and out.
Whenever like I get super paranoid too going to these card shows because it's like there's all these cards everywhere, especially like when I'm buying cards and I'm putting cards in my case and like I'm looking at my phone. Like the last thing I want is like someone to like accuse me of like stealing and like all this stuff. Like I get super paranoid that like someone's gonna think like I'm doing something like wrong, like where I'm just like putting my phone in and out of my pocket. Like it makes me feel
Yeah.
like I'm being watched. You know what I'm
Somebody's
saying? And like.
watching you.
Yeah, it's just like even though like I'm just trying to enjoy the show and like put my cards away, like even like sometimes at shows like if I'm carrying a card in my hand, I'm like and from one booth to the next, I'm like, by the way, I just bought this, I'm putting it in my pocket or I'm putting it in my case, like I don't want you and people are like understanding of that, but like I've seen all the time, like people get like arrested, and like the last thing I want is someone to think like I'm like taking like a Mason Jones like autograph or something like that. I'm like,
They'll get tackled. They're like, "Sir,
yeah, I would just like
sir."
start, especially like it's definitely like very overwhelming with like all those people or whatnot. Like I'm sure there's people that just like would like assume something like that, but I'm always just like making sure that I'm like doing it the right way, because the last thing I want is to be
Yeah.
accused of something like that, you know.
Well, yeah, it's so tough because there's like so many instances of like people stealing the cards. Like recently, I don't know why, but I've gotten on like Pokemon TikTok thieves. Like I keep
Yeah.
just
Oh, I
seeing
saw
like I
one.
keep seeing
Yeah.
people like sliding out the binder and like just sliding it under
Yeah.
their own
It's
stuff.
insane.
Crazy. So I guess, but it
Yeah.
stinks because there are those bad apples that like make the sellers have to
Yeah.
be like diligently watching
Yeah.
to make sure their
That's
stuff doesn't get stolen.
because I never like when we first started going, I would never like think about that until like when we're when I saw a couple videos. I'm like, people are like, "Oh yeah," and I was talking to one of the guys on the show, who the guy Doug who had like all the wooden cases. He used to put some crazy cards in those. He's like, I had to stop because like he got some stolen, and he's like, it's obviously like very few people that do that, but it's like it sucks that you have to these are environments where you have a lot of expensive things, so it's definitely like
Yeah.
I understand the feeling that you're thinking because I feel the same exact way. I'm like that's why I try like, and especially like when you're like kind of in between people trying to go around to the booth, like I'm just like holding the cards in there like so they see. I'm like,
Plus, you also probably got a real. I'm. This is just me not knowing anything and just kind of talking out loud. But like, I'm sure someone stealing like a $300 card from a show is just like a criminal offense or a ticket. So like, they're not going to jail for that. So they're probably like, there's some shitty people out there that are like just weighing out the risk and the reward like portion of it. You know, not like thinking like how bad that's gonna look on everyone else there. But it's definitely like, yeah, it's made me think like I don't even have like that many cards. Like even when we do set up a show, like would I not bring this because it would get stolen? Like if someone wants to steal my Jaime Haskaz NBA Tops card or my NBA Hoops rookie cards, like sure, by all means, go for it. Like you're helping me out, but it's also like if I was like, where's my Drake London or Josh Allen, then I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
yeah, that's why like definitely it's good to have those cases because it's like they're not gonna be able to slick through that because
Right.
you're
They ask you to show them,
and it's good that's why like it's like because it's when it's two of us, it's like that's two sets of eyes, and it's like it's harder like when it's a single dealer and they're like
they have like
dealing with
massive
one thing
setups,
when their
case
value
in the back.
boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely overall, great show. I did also see a sick card that I wanted to get, but the guy was a little too high on. It was an RG3 Andrew Luck triple threads patch auto out of 3, and I offered the guy 200. He was like, I'll think about it. Like he didn't, but then I'm looking at him and he's like, would you do a little? And I'm like, I wouldn't do anything over 200. Like if it's all good if not, but I'm just like personally. So it was a cool card, but I'm like the guy was asking a little more than I wanted to pay, so that was another cool card I saw.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think if I saw anything that like I wanted but was too expensive, and not really like a card like, oh man, like I need that. Like there wasn't a Sixers
Yeah.
card that was like, oh, like that's I want that, but it's too much, so I can't get it. I would say like there was like a Nico Collins like contenders 101 ticket that I was like, okay, like if it's like around this price, I would get it, and it was like triple of like what it was
Yeah.
like my range. I was like, nah, I'm good. And like, there's some other cards of like this guy had a bunch of cool like bat knobs, like even though I'm not really into baseball, but like the game used bat knobs, and like they were sick, but like I can't justify, or like there was like button cards, like game used buttons from like Bo Jackson. I think it was like 250, and like I probably would have considered getting that, even though I'm not super into baseball. But it's just like it it just was a little over like that price range where like I'm not even gonna bother looking up. I'll just pay for it if that makes sense, especially if I'm gonna keep it. But yeah, overall, I'm just looking forward to the next show just to find that like card like Nico. You know what I'm saying? There's always cards like that at every show.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we had a good experience. We'll be setting up actually at a show in a couple weeks, so
Yep.
look forward to that. But unless you guys have anything else to say,
No, I think we're good.
we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.